is what I'm called to do, direct action, actually putting myself in the way of the harm that's being done. It is so blissful to actually see a place where I can apply that calling, where I can take action that has a chance of making a difference.
Keystone Pipeline, North Dakota. I'm Michael Foster. In order to preserve life as we know it and civilization, give us a fair chance and our kids a fair chance, I'm taking action as a citizen. I am duty bound.
I've lived a pretty conventional life. I bought in, after my teens into the American dream. I got married. I, worked on a career, bought a house. Looked at all the things that our culture tends to think of as a successful life. And for me, a lot of that was very good. I loved my family. I loved my kids. And yet there was this part of me that knew something was terribly wrong with the way our system was working. I had some dissonant facts, like knowing that the only reason we have the standard of living in America that we do is because of the way that our nation has exploited people throughout its history, whether it was genocide of the First Nations people, whether it was slavery, whether it was women, whether it was a plan to militarily dominate the whole world so that we could continue to feed the pipeline of resources into America to maintain a very unfair lifestyle. If we were to live at the standard of living that was fair to the rest of humanity on the globe, it would be so very much different than what we're consuming now. And so I, like so many Americans, was not facing those truths. They were nagging feelings that contributed to a need to anesthetize, to watch TV, to stay really absorbed in my work, to not look at those horrible truths. I went to a Joanna Macy conference. She does the work that reconnects. She's a eco-philosopher, a wonderful woman, was already in her late 70s at the time I went to that workshop. And the process she uses to help people face those horrible truths was what helped me to get there. I mean, part of it is that it's very despairing to look at that and also know that in this country we've gotten to a place where as citizens we don't have very much power anymore. The work that reconnects is a spiral. It starts with gratitude. It's just looking at everything we love in this world, and then it's going into facing the truths about what is wrong and getting through that despair. Most of us are afraid of really looking at that.
It's about grieving.
It is.
It really is. We don't grieve in this country what's been lost, but so much has been lost.
What the workshop helped me to do is take that despair through grieving and turn that into an energy for action. And so after that and retirement, I co-founded 350 Corvallis and started this journey toward direct action.
So it's a beautiful spring morning. It's Earth Week. We're celebrating Earth Day this weekend. Life is coming up and out of the ground all around us. It's awesome to be alive. You kind of feel it in the air. And there are half as many vertebrates living on the planet today as there were at Earth Day 1970 when the environmental movement was born in this country. So there's a joy in being alive and a gratitude, and there's a grieving that needs to happen for all that's been lost. How do we talk about this with each other? We could argue for days about why we don't talk about this with each other. But the point is, we have to learn to talk about this with each other now so that we can move to action. When you hit the end of the rope, you hit the wall, you can't believe that the coral reefs are dying, like 30 years before they were predicted to die. You know, Google Great Barrier Reef if you don't know what I'm talking about. And then talk about it. And then you wake up the next day and you say, okay, I'm still alive. What am I going to do about this? How am I going to remain human? How am I going to hold on to my humanity and be a part of this living world that's still here, that's still struggling to catch its breath while we keep choking the air with our waste? How am I going to do that? Because if there's going to be people here 1,000 years from now, it's going to be because of what you and I do in the next few months and years. So you make a difference. Every body that shows up makes a difference. Whether it's for social justice, for science, for the tribal rights, stopping the pipelines and the coal terminals and the things that are being proposed for this region. Every person that shows up makes a huge difference. So get involved now.
If people are not acting as though there's an emergency, people don't believe that there's an emergency. And so for me, this is all about acting consistent with the threat that I'm seeing.